Here is the promise of an automatic watering system. Set it once, forget it forever. Now a true story from the forums. A hose timer jammed open, not for an hour, but for 2 days, until the water company itself rang to ask what was going on. Automation rarely fails by stopping. It fails quietly while the app swears everything is fine. I am Michal. I drive buses in Belfast. Today, 6 ways it fails. Before we count the 6, you need one idea, and it is the whole point of the episode. Failures come in 2 kinds, loud ones and silent ones. A loud failure announces itself. A pipe bursts, water goes everywhere. You notice within the hour and you fix it. Loud failures are annoying, but they are honest. Silent failures are the dangerous ones. The system looks like it is working. The app shows a green tick. The schedule says it ran at 6 this morning, and yet not a drop reached your roots. This is the trap that catches everyone, so say it with me. The app showing a run is not proof of water in the ground. It only proves that a timer sent a signal. Everything after that signal, the valve, the pipe, the dripper, the soil, is where the water can quietly disappear. So as we go through the 6, watch how many of them leave the app looking perfectly happy. That is not a coincidence. That is the reason a smart garden still needs a human who walks the route. Let us start at the very beginning of the chain, because the first 2 failures live there. Failure 1, the water was never on. The outdoor tap got turned off over winter and never turned back on. The stopcock is half shut. A hosepipe ban had you close a valve and you forgot. The timer fires perfectly into a pipe with nothing in it. Failure 2. The timer never fired at all, and 9 times out of 10 the reason is boring. A flat battery. On a timer like mine, the batteries last 6 to 8 months, which sounds like forever until you realize that means they die mid-season, on the hottest week while you are away. No power, no trigger, no water, and the app may not even tell you until you open it. So the very first question when a garden looks dry is not which clever setting is wrong. It is the plumber's question and the electrician's question. Is the water actually on, and does the thing actually have power? Boring, yes. But I check the boring things first, because on the buses it is always the boring thing. Say the water is on and the timer fired. Failure 3 is waiting a little further down the pipe, a blockage. Drippers have tiny openings and tiny openings clog. Grit from the water, mineral scale from our hard British water, algae, a stray bit of soil, or the fine mesh filter at the tap slowly furring up. When a dripper clogs, here is the cruelty. The system upstream is completely happy. The timer runs, the valve opens, water flows, the app is delighted. But at the business end, over that one plant, nothing comes out, or a sad trickle that never reaches the root zone. And this is where flow matters as much as timing. A line that is part blocked might still drip, just not enough to wet the soil deep down where the roots live. 10 minutes of not quite enough. Every day grows a plant with shallow, thirsty roots that collapse the moment you go on holiday. The only way to catch this one is with your eyes at the plant while it is running, not from the sofa. You have to go and watch the water actually arrive. Failure 4 is the one from the top of the show, and it cuts both ways. The valve. A valve has one job: open on command, close on command. When it fails in one of 2 directions, and they are opposites: stuck, closed, and you get silent drought. The timer says water, the valve ignores it, and your plants bake while the app shows a tidy little run every morning. Stuck open, and you get the horror story. Water flows and never stops. That gardener on the irrigation forum came home to a timer that had jammed open for 48 hours. The water company phoned before he even noticed. That is not a schedule problem. That is a bill you do not forget. And a garden turned to swamp. Valves stick from grit, from wear, from cheap parts, and from freezing if you leave them out over a British winter. This is exactly why a manual override, a physical button on the unit, matters so much. When the electronics lie about the valve, a button lets you open and close it with your own hand and see, with your own eyes, whether water moves. Failure 5 is the sneakiest of the lot. The leak. Not a dramatic burst, but a slow one. A fitting that never quite sealed. A split in a pipe hidden under the mulch. A connector loosened by the sun and the frost. Here the water is on, the timer fires, the valve opens, and water does flow. It just escapes before it reaches the plant. You water for 10 minutes and half of it soaks a patch of bare soil behind the shed. On paper, everything ran. In reality, your tomatoes got half a drink and your water bill quietly climbs. The tell for a hidden leak is a soggy patch that has no business being soggy, or a water bill that creeps up for no reason you can name. The check is old and reliable. Turn everything off at the house, then go and look at your water meter. If the little dial is still ticking round with nothing running, something, somewhere, is leaking. The pipe does not care that the app is green. Failure 6 is the most modern one, and it is the trap that comes free with going clever, the sensor that lies. When you let a soil sensor or a weather feed make the watering decision, you hand your garden's life to a number, and numbers drift. A cheap moisture probe corrodes and reads wetter than the soil truly is, so the system decides not to water, and the bed dries out. Or the rain skip triggers because the forecast promised rain that fell 2 towns over, and never actually wet your ground. Remember, a greenhouse never gets rained on at all, so a rain skip there is pure fiction, and the whole chain can simply lose its connection. The broadband drops, the hub goes offline, and the clever weather logic quietly stops thinking. A dumb timer would have just watered. A smart one that has lost its signal may do nothing and tell you nothing. The lesson is not to distrust every sensor. It is to remember that a sensor is one more thing that can fail silently, and the more decisions you hand it, the more it can get wrong without ever raising its voice. Six ways to fail, and if you try to remember them one by one, you never will. So do what every bus driver does before the wheels turn. A walk around, one fixed route, same order every time, 5 minutes, and it catches all 6. Here is mine. 1. Is the water on? Check the tap and the stopcock are open. 2. Did it fire? Watch a cycle start or check the battery. 3. Does water reach the ends? Walk to the furthest and thirstiest plant and look. 4. Is there enough to wet the root zone, not just darken the surface? Push a finger in after a run. 5. Did a rain skip stop it wrongly? Glance at the weather logic, especially for the greenhouse. 6. Is anything leaking? 1 look at the meter with everything off. That is the whole inspection. Run it once a week in summer and after any storm, and you will catch most failures while they are still small and boring, instead of finding them when a plant is dead or the bill has landed. Write what you find in last week's logbook. The walk-around feeds the log, and the log tells you what keeps failing. So where does the kit sit in all this? Honestly, in the middle. On my own tap, I run the Johgee 4-zone timer, and 2 things about it earn their place on this list. It warns me when the battery drops below 20%, which kills failure 2 before it happens. And it has a real manual button on the unit, so when I suspect a stuck valve, I can open it by hand and watch. But let me be straight, because that is the whole spirit of today. No timer on the market can see a clogged dripper, a hidden leak, or a slowly drifting sensor. Those live at the plant, in the pipe, in the soil, and the only detector for them is you on your walk around. The kit removes one failure and helps with a second. The other 4 are still your job. So what does that mean for your garden? 3 things to carry out of today. First, automation rarely fails by stopping. It fails silently, so a green tick in the app is never proof of water in the ground. Second, there are 6 places it goes wrong. No water, no trigger, a clog, a stuck valve, a leak, and a lying sensor. Learn the shape of each one. Third, you do not memorize them, you walk them. A 5-minute route once a week and after every storm catches them while they are still small. Automation does not remove the gardener, it just changes the job from watering to inspecting. Next week we climb. We look at the smart greenhouse as a ladder, from a simple thermostat that opens a vent up through multi-sensor control, all the way to systems that watch your plants with a camera. 3 rungs, and where it is worth stopping. If a bus driver doing a walk around on his tomatoes is your sort of thing, subscribe and tell me which failure has bitten you in the comments. Right, that is the root for today. See you on the next one.